George Sidz. We couldn't let him get away. We want more of George. George joins us on the sofa right now from the ATP. Also Justin Gimelstob as well. Justin, it's a huge team effort, clearly, this, isn't it?
It's the perfect word, is the team. It's the people behind the scenes that you don't see that make this incredible show go on. And it is an absolute 52-week-a-year adventure. You have people like George, his wife Nanette, people behind that you don't see, January Lowe or Rob O'Farrell, Chris, Martin Lane, so many people, Andre Silva, Chris Kermode, and the whole ATP staff have done such an incredible job, and we're so proud of this. We have great partners like Barclays, we have great partners like Rico throughout the year that support this venture and enable us to do all of this, and this Holden Court show, and you guys have done an amazing job, has been an addition this year, but it is a total team effort, and we're all very proud of the show that you get to see on the court, but there's a lot of things that go on that enable us to have that show.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your kind words, by the way. And George, I mean, if you take us back to 2009, what was the kind of thought process? What were you trying to achieve at that stage?
Well, our first thing, Rob, was to position the event. You know, you're basically coming to market like the United Kingdom, like London, where you have the ultimate tennis event, you know, the mecca of tennis, the Wimbledon, and you're bringing a new tournament in here, so we need to position it as something completely different, you know, because you can't repeat what Wimbledon has achieved. So our key thing was to do it exactly opposite. So Wimbledon is white. This event is full of color. Wimbledon is very quiet, very reserved. This is rowdy music, light show, and everything, and really make it very special. And funny enough, one of the positioning concept was to make it was the People Sunday event. It's the people's event. You know, it's very, very open. It's very accessible. The ticket starts from £20 each. So we really want to make sure that people can really get to this tournament and experience this phenomenal sport that we are all part of.
Tennis in this country is so steeped in tradition through Wimbledon specifically. How difficult has it been to stage an event that is, as you say, George, such an opposite, such a contrast to Wimbledon, but actually the two work rather nicely in relation to one another?
I think the way we went about it is we really thought about what is the key product, and the key product are those two athletes on the court that people are coming to watch. This phenomenal generation of players, Roger, Rafa, Novak, Andy, Joe Wilfried Tsonga, all these guys just delivering such a phenomenal product across the world. I'm not sure if you guys know, but our global coverage almost doubled in 4 or 5 years as a result of what these guys do. So we already have a really, really good product, but what we want to do is to make that product a little bit more exciting. Give those guys a few little bells and whistles of which they can, you know, take off and really, really entertain the crowd all the way through, from when they enter the arena till they leave, so that every moment of the tennis experience is filled with entertainment.
And it's important to note that Wimbledon and the LTA have been incredible partners, and Wimbledon is the ultimate, it is the mecca. They are such a unique event, and we're just doing it a different way, but we're giving fans the ability to process the sport in a different way. But at the end of the day, no different at Wimbledon, at the All England Club, or here at the O2 Arena, it's about the product, it's about the athletes, and the level of tennis has never been better, and that is the main reason why tennis has been so successful. As great as George is, as great as the ATP team is, even we can't mess this up. As great as the product is, as great as what you saw today with Federer against Nadal, and you're going to see later with Djokovic, Wawrinka, and now with the Bryan brothers in the doubles.
And Justin, you talk about the product, which is the players. How much have you tried to integrate the fans involved in the Barclays World Tour Finals?
Well, fan interaction has been a huge goal, and George could elaborate. But right now, it's not just sport. There's so many opportunities for the entertainment dollar. You need to make sport and entertainment and find that bridge, find that intersection. And that is a huge part of what the team, I view, and the ATP World Tour Board views has been such a successful part of the activation of this event.
Absolutely, and I think it all starts with the fans. You know, it was Justin said it before, the event starts in day after after we finish, and when we first came in here, our first and foremost things were to get the fans in, to sell out this arena, you know, from the start, because without the fans, you have a beautiful arena, lots of lights, lots of music, and no atmosphere. It really is quite amazing when we do the rehearsal, and you get there Sunday night before we get started, and we play the music, and we're like, oh, it doesn't sound good, you know, it doesn't have the energy. And then you really start doubting yourself in the middle of the night, you know, it's like, did we get it wrong? How is it going to go? And then you come the next day and the crowd is packed and all these guys come in and you get that atmosphere that really chest sort of, you feel it in your chest.
Yeah, but also this venue lends itself so perfectly to the event that you have created. But actually, I guess it's a sort of genesis between the two, because you've got the outer circle here, which is free. Anyone can come to the fan zone. Anyone can walk off the street and stand inches away from Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic, whoever, on the practice courts. I mean, where else do you get that?
It's a great dichotomy, and the team has done a great job incorporating aspects of that. So putting practice courts out there with fans accessible, and then you have the private dynamic, and then you have the sponsorship and the activation component. And obviously the O2 is a very unique experience. I mean, coming from America with AEG, also owning the Staples Center and seeing what they've done there, but all the restaurants, the movies, all the incredible spectacles that they have here, it's just a very unique place. But at the end of the day, if a tree falls in the woods and no one is there to see it or hear it, did it really fall? You have to get the people in there, you have to get them engaged. And when you were there on the court watching Nadal and Federer play today, you could feel it. It was palpable, it's tangible, it's real. That energy, and it goes to, once again, the team that's been created and the product that's out there.
And George, everyone wants to improve the tournament year on year. How can you make this event better in future years?
Well, I think that's really is a key aspect of it. We started with that, and Chris Commode and Andre from the beginning when we start planning the event. When we finished the year one, we said next year we cannot serve the same thing. You know, the key components are the same because everything we do is meant to enhance the product and meant to enhance the experience for the fans. But we can deliver a few little tweaks. So, you know, year one, for example, this fan zone did not exist. It did not exist year one.
So what was here in the first year?
It was nothing. It was just this empty space. We actually had to tarmac it. It was just dirt. We had to put the tarmac on it and everything. So it was really the big step first to be in the fan zone. Then year two, we brought the digiboards on the outside because the O2 is a really cool arena which has a bit more space outside of the court. So you could use those digiboards on the outside, which allowed us to create an opening show that is based on 22 different screens working together. So when the players are walking in there, it's fully synced in. And there was a number of other initiatives that Holding Court Live. What you guys done this week is a phenomenal addition. You know, we couldn't be more thankful to the two of you guys and Charlie and the whole team that has done this.
I mean, the biggest challenge next year is going to be replacing Ross because he's going to be playing. So, I mean, that's what we have actually been spending a lot of time, and we'll be spending starting Tuesday thinking, what do we do? How do we replace Ross because he's been so integral to the show and all the enjoyment of all the fans? It's because we expect such an incredible comeback next year.
We need to clone Justin and then put Justin in here because then he can replace me, and then when he's actually not doing his board meetings, just can be sitting here in reality.
But it is constantly innovating. Is very difficult, you know, in any walk of life. But the thing that I think most people know this event for is the walkout. It is the single spotlight on the players, which kind of blinds them, walking out of a completely dark arena, the smoke and the heartbeat. Now, as a player, we've asked the players, they love it, but I'm wondering if there's ever been any opposition to that, because you think it might just increase the pressure and the heartbeat on them with all that walking out, but Justin's shaking his head, and look, I know from having
these are the elite players in the world in an individual sport, and I can honestly make the argument that tennis players we're not seeing some of the best tennis playing athletes, we're seeing some of the best athletes in the world. Individual sport, international, 40 weeks a year, different types of physicality, technical, mental skills, and individual sport, fully international, one of the most popular sports in the world. These guys, if you don't want to embrace competition, if you don't want to embrace intensity and pressure, you're not going to be out there. These players love the fact that the onus is put on them because in an individual sport, there is no place to hide.
And Justin, we've talked on this show about boxing arenas. Is there any other arenas that you can compare this to in terms of as a spectacle, as a show? What do you imagine the Barclays World Tour Finals to be like in terms of other sports?
Well, I think that, like we said, it's no different than players. There are no players that are exactly the same. There are no events that are exactly the same. Events need to find their own identity. They need to be able to connect with their audience and their demographic, and you also have to be able to use the assets that you can. We like to think that our tournament is the David Ferrer of tournaments. We do the best we can with what we have, and we're not overly boastful. We have the best 8 players in the world. We have the best 8 doubles teams in the world. Let's sell that. Let's get great partners like Barclays and FedEx and Rico, and give them the opportunity to help us with exposure, and then let's make it entertaining and use the incredible live international European audience that we have and make the most of it.
And again, that comes back to the fans and the fan zone here. Barclays have got all sorts of things around here, as well as other contributors too. But like the being able to experience what it's like to walk out into the arena. There's so much stuff down here. Again, you could just walk off the street and come and experience it.
I'm really glad you bring it up, because without our partners, none of this would have happened. You know, it takes their involvement and their belief and their leap of faith, because when you're looking at something on the paper, it's very different when you see it in reality, particularly when it comes to something like show production. You know, you can't really simulate the atmosphere of 17,800 people screaming at top of their lungs. So it is very, very different. But our partners have been phenomenal, and Barclays is really leading the charge, and they have been innovating themselves. I think the activity that they have over here with the walk-on court is just fantastic, you know, and I think they have done a phenomenal job, and we're really, really grateful to have them on board.
Yeah, we did it ourselves the other day. We all found it pretty thrilling.
The Barclays Arena
The Barclays Arena entrance, wonderful.
I think the week was perfect.
George, in terms of setting up next year's event, are you already working on that, or now this is over, you go and have a little holiday?
Well, absolutely. You start right away. As soon as your thoughts are fresh, you want to put them down on paper. And we are already comparing notes. We produce a post-event report every year, which is usually 100 pages plus, where we write down all the little things that you can make better. Because, as Justin said, David Ferrer, the way he improves those tiny little marginal gains, and you add them all up, and you become something amazing that he is. And that's exactly what we try to do. So, you know, a week from now, I'm flying to Orlando to meet with our digital agency to talk about how we can further improve the new website that we launched, which is hosting this show, and how we can, while we have it completely fresh in our minds. Same thing with the show production. We're going to meet with Chris Cicciarello, who we saw on the screen a little bit earlier, and in December, and go through everything in detail and analyze it, you know, and be very, very critical so that we can improve.
Yeah, if I was to say from the board perspective, these last board meetings, we're really focusing on the importance of marketing. These great champions we have are incredible. We really want to put a lot of focus and opportunity behind the next generation of star players, give them the opportunity to be at the forefront and prepare for that next generation. And we all know where the world's going in terms of digital, in terms of social sites, access. People want and need and are so accustomed now to getting access. And from the ATP World Tour standpoint, we want to be at the forefront of that.
And just now, just want to rack your brain about the whole...
You want nothing to do with what's going on here, I'll tell you that.
It's quite important for me. Do you have to make campaigning for this event, or does the Barclays World Tour Finals sell itself to the players and to the fans throughout the year?
Well, we're at an interesting stage. We've had, is this our 5th year here?
5th year.
It is our 5th year, and we've extended for 2 more years. And then there's a lot of interesting conversations that we had on the board level. This has been amazing, and we'd like to maintain this as much as possible and hope that we can. There are a lot of markets that are very interested in this event. A lot of people would love to have the opportunity to do this, but you're constantly balancing, this is so amazing, how could you walk away from this? But what other opportunities are out there? So it's a constant balancing act, but all I would say from the ATP World Tour standpoint is how proud we are of what we have going on right now, our partnership with AEG, our partnership with the O2 Arena, and the LTA and the LTA and the All England Club, and the team we have in place.
Yeah, I think we're all very proud of it too, and loving being here. So thanks for allowing the likes of me here. It's a great privilege. Justin, we're going to ask you to stay on for a little bit, but George, we're going to release you. We have to make way for someone marginally more attractive, but not much. But George, great to hear from you, and we'll see you later on in the evening, of course. But well done, cracking talk.
Thanks so much for having me.
In fact, just now,